Hi everyone, good day. I welcome you to this session of the BIM Coordinator Summit 2024. That's been an exciting session all through. I'll be presenting about the future of cost managers in the era of BIM, cost and carbon, and our focus is going to be in the construction industry. I go by name Olayemi Usman. I work as All Life Cost and Carbon Consultant with Turner& Townsend Alinia in London, United Kingdom. I recently passed my master's degree with the University of Northampton, where my focus was BIM enabled sustainable building, and I am an ambassador for Zero. So Zero is a non-profit organization in the UK that will focus on carbon literacy across various institutions. So I would like to give a brief introduction about this topic. Cost managers help to manage cost effectively, equating the qualities and value with individual clients' needs based on different projects. And it is evident that the title of a cost manager varies from different countries. Some countries prefer to call it as a cost engineers, some countries a proper quantity surveyors, while in the UK it is majorly described as cost managers. As cost managers, we need to start thinking forward and thinking ahead, not just the cost of the building, but we should also think ahead about the operational cost of a building. So that's why we're going to be looking at what is capex and opex. Capex is more of the construction cost of the building from inceptions to completions, while the opex is the cost of the operating the building throughout the life cycle. So that's why there's a need for quantity surveyors to understand the operation, how to calculate the operational cost of a building, because it is evident that the life cycle cost of a building is about 60 to 70% of the construction cost. Imagine a bulk of this cost of building is not being focused on. There's a need for quantity surveyor to start thinking far ahead. So when we talk about sustainability, we all know that sustainability is the new trend in the construction industry. When we come to the constructions, our main focus is going to be about the carbon in the built environment, as it is evident from research that the construction industry contributes about 40% of the carbon emissions through our actions and inactions in the industries, through transportation and the choice of materials we use. So as a cost manager, we are the right professionals in the industries that understand materials and how to prescribe the right materials and equipment to use, because we understand numbers. When we talk about BIM, BIM is also a major digital trend in the construction industry over the last few years. Now, technology and database is the only way out for us to accurately measure and manage the cost and carbon impacts. Now, with a simple definition of BIM, BIM is more of like a digital representation of the physical and the functional elements of the property in a structured format. So as a quantity surveyor, we can effectively function under the fifth and sixth dimensions of BIM, which is the cost and the sustainability aspect of it. So here, we're going to be talking about BIM in carbon accounting. How can BIM help in tracking and managing our carbon? So when we talk about this, we're talking about life cycle assessment. So in this aspect, there's a possibility of using BIM technology to integrate with various LCA tools. So when we talk about this implies integrating a BIM models that contains a detailed information and about different materials and quantities and specifications. So the ability of this data to be linked with an LCA database. And this LCA database majorly comprises of various environmental data, for example, like the environmental product declarations, which is the EPDs. So technology has advanced for you to be able to integrate your BIM with various LCA tools like Revit and the likes. Okay, and also BIM helps you in material extractions. So BIMs allow you to accurately and automate the extraction of materials and quantities. So these precisions reduce errors in your LCA's calculations that might occur when you're doing a manual takeoff or manual extraction. So BIM helps you in order to extract those materials in order to generate accurate figures when your LCA calculations. Using the extracted quantities and the LCA database, the embodied carbon materials or the embodied carbon of the materials is being calculated and generated based on different requirements and based on different parameters. Now, this includes the carbon emission that is being generated includes the carbon emissions from the extraction, the transportations, the constructions, and even the operational carbon emissions. So the ability for you to do this is being aided by technology of BIM. Now, when you talk about BIM in carbon accounting, it also helps you in your energy simulation, like the operational carbon modeling as well. So, BIM models can be integrated with energy simulation tools like IES. So, this allows for prediction of operational energy use and associated carbon over the building lifespan. So, with the help of BIM, we can actually understand what is happening during the lifespan of our particular building. Sustainable materials selections. So BIM softwares also include extensive library of materials with associated properties like the EPDs from the different manufacturers. So this database, which can be integrated with the BIM softwares, helps you to select the right materials and the right countries and the right transportations, distance and the likes. So when we talk about BIM help in terms of materials transparency as well, because of the extensive database and the detailed information which is in the BIM models. So this helps to support the selections of materials that we are going to be using based on the EPDs and the likes. So when we talk about BIM also help in terms of recycled content tracking. So BIM technology can help to track the percentage of the recycled content of materials. So this helps in terms of meeting various sustainability certifications like the LEED, the BREEAM or thereabouts. So because of the collaborative nature of BIM technology, it helps you to understand and make design decisions at the early stage of the project. It is easier to influence the design, thereby controlling the carbon footprint of the particular building. Because if we have not made an informed decision at the early stage of the project, at the later stage, the cost is going to be high, thereabout increasing the carbon figures and thereby not making the client to hit the required RAM or the LEED certification. So this can actually impact the client certifications on a project. And here we'll be looking at tools in carbon accounting. The first one here is the embodied carbon calculator. So this tool is actually created internally by Turner and Townsend. It helps to calculate and measure the upfront embodied carbon of various buildings. And these tools have been used across various projects, both large and big projects, and it has a positive client feedback. With these tools, you can easily understand your emissions through extractions, through transportations, and through constructions of the building. So because it helps you to calculate your A1 to A5. Now, the next one here is the EC3. This is a free database of building materials APD, majorly used for product selections and procurement. Now, these tools, it helps to give the general overview of your carbon footprints of a building. You can actually download this, go online and check about this. It's actually a free tools for users. And the next one is One-Click LCA. One-Click LCA is one of the most common tools in the industry because of the large size of database that it comprises, and this tool also helps to integrate with Revit for you to generate your carbon footprint data with just a few clicks, and the result is always in kilograms CO2 emission depending on what you are actually looking for. And the last one here is E2 LCA. This is also an LCA tool that helps to calculate the whole life cost of a project. Recently they rebranded as Seclos, and you can actually check them out. These are not the only tools available in the market, but these are the top tools that I've worked with and I'm currently using based on requirements on my role. Now we'll be talking about the new equilibrium. As a cost managers that I am, we all understand that what we majorly focus in terms of every project, it's cost, time and quality, because we develop the cost. We make sure that every cost details we put every specification is based on high of quality, and we ensure that whatever budget we are putting in is can meet the required program as per the project. So this has been the equilibrium status quo for the past century, but with the recent requirement of the climate crisis, there is a need for new 21st century quantity surveyor to start thinking ahead more than just this equilibrium, which is we are going to be having cost, quality, time and carbon. So carbon is now a major currency in the industry that cost managers need to start thinking for them to be efficient with the new ways of working. Now, let's talk about the skills and competencies required by various cost managers. So when I talk about the technical skills, as a cost manager, they need for you to understand how to use some BIM tools like Revit, Naviswork, Costex, Power BI, etc. depending on the requirements on your role. And also, you need to understand some carbon calculation tools like we talked earlier on. One-Click LCA is a great tool for you to start with. You can start using in E2 and EC3 is there as well. So there's a need for you to develop some technical skills around this. And also, in terms of database and information, there's a need for cost managers to understand the database of the BCRS, the database according to the BECD. So these are things that we can actually check online to understand what the future holds in terms of developing the carbon currency as a core competencies. And as a cost manager, need for you to have analytical skills. So I'm going to talk about this, having skills of analyzing data, because with the trend of construction right now, data is oil. So there's a need for you to understand how to analyze past project data in order to make informed decisions. And there's a need for cost managers to know how to interpret data and negotiation. So these are the analytical skills which are necessary for a cost manager. Now there's a need for us to also understand interdisciplinary knowledge, because collaboration is a key, and there's a need for us to understand what sustainability is to you in terms of the environment. So there's a need for you to have a basic knowledge or a level 2 knowledge of sustainability. There's also a need for you to understand the carbon metrics in terms of reinforcement, because these are the metrics that will be used to test your strength in terms of the new ways of working. Energy efficiency, and there's energy crisis occurring now. So as a context of your, there's a need for us to understand how does it affect you as a professional, and how are you able to quantify for these informations when given. And also as a quantity surveyor, there's a need for you to understand life cycle assessment, because as a role in my day-to-day activities, where I help clients to understand the life cycle assessment of a cost of a building and also the life cycle assessment of the carbon cost of a building. So as a cost manager, these are the interdisciplinary knowledge that is necessary for you to function in the new ways of working. So for a forward-thinking professionals, there are new rules and new focus that is being developed. So the traditional role of a cost manager involve cost estimation, contract management, budget management, risk management, and the likes. So these are the basic traditional role of a cost managers. But with the new trend right now, there's a need for cost managers to understand that there's a sustainability focus, digital transformations, which is like a BIM, integrated project delivery, which is like the IPD, and life cycle costings and the whole life carbon assessments. So these are opportunities that cost managers need to harness for them to function well with the new ways of working. Now, let's talk about the future job title for cost managers. So in the carbon market, we have cost and carbon consultants, and this is my current role in Turner & Townsend. I've also worked as a sustainability advisor, where I give advices on the sustainable materials to use. I've also worked as a sustainability project QS, because as a cost manager, we need to start understanding that our role is not just about developing cost alone. What is the carbon impact? Life cycle assessment specialist. So as a QS, you can function as a life cycle assessment specialist by understanding the carbon impact of a project and the cost impact of a project, not just the construction cost, but the whole life cost. And also you can also work as embodied carbon analyst. This helps you to analyze different embodied carbon data for various projects, and also net zero carbon strategy. So there are a lot of rules out there, a lot of new job titles out there for cost managers to think forward to. And in the BIM market, we have 5D BIM specialists. So in this role, it allows you to perform real-time cost analysis, create detailed cost plans, and manage projects from construction throughout its life cycle. And also we have BIM-enabled value engineers. They use the BIM model to identify the cost-saving opportunities and optimize design to bring a better values to clients. All life cost BIM specialists. So in this role, they use BIM to analyze data and optimize the whole life cost of a building or infrastructures, when we're talking about the capex and the operational cost of a building. So they use BIM to analyze and optimize the whole life cost of a building. So BIM asset cost managers. So this role is a specialized position that combine the knowledge of BIM and asset management with cost control. So this role is particularly focused on using BIM throughout the building life cycles to manage and optimize cost related issues across the building. And also finally we have digital constructions manager. So there are a lot of roles out there that is coming up for cost managers to be aware, because as time goes on, there's a need for you to be able to have an added advantages to your clients. So now we'll be talking about the framework for the new century cost managers, because we believe for you to effectively function as a new century cost managers in the next job roles, you need to have some core competencies around the new skill set. In terms of cost management, you need to have about 32% of cost management skills in terms of estimating, contract management, procurement, risk management, and negotiations and the likes. So these are the core competencies of a cost managers. You should have about 32% of it. And also In terms of digital skills, you need to have about 25% of your digital skills in terms of BIMs and data analysis, data visualization, and data interpretations. These are the digital skills you need to have about 25%. And the next is the carbon skill set. So when we talk about the carbon skill set, we're talking about the life cycle cost assessment, life cycle carbon assessment, the EPD selections, and sustainability knowledge across board. So as a cost manager, you need to have about 28% of this for it to be effective. And lastly, soft skills like communications, leadership skills, and accountability. You should have about 15%. So looking at all these frameworks makes you a perfect cost manager in the 21st century job market. So, talking about the market opportunities in the BIM and carbon market, the building information modeling market is projected to reach from 8 billion USD in 2024 to 14.8 billion USD in 2029. So this shows that the market is growing exponentially over the coming years, and there's a lot of opportunities coming out there. So it is a pointer for us to know that this is the right directions to go. So I want to talk about the carbon market shares. The value of the global carbon market reached a high record last year, 2023, to about 949 billion USD dollars. The sustainability trend is what is in vogue right now because of the climate crisis. So opportunities are out there for us to take part. So as a quantity surveyor or cost managers, as the case may be, these are new roles, new job opportunities, new job titles for us to leverage on in order for us to function in the next job market, in order to have more competitive advantages and bring more values to our clients. I really hope you've enjoyed this sessions, you've learned one or two things, and you are more charged as a cost managers in the construction industries. And if you have any questions and any contributions, you can as well reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can send me an email. I look forward to hearing from you for any questions. Thank you so much.